Welcome to Badminton Weekly with me, Jasmine Lim. The Hylo Open this week will be the first of 5 remaining events on the HSBC BWF World Tour calendar this year. With so few tournaments left, the top names are making a last dash to secure a place in the World Tour finals. Cho Tian-chen, currently second in the HSBC race to final standing, is looking to solidify his spot by defending his Hylo Open title. But the Chinese Taipei shuttler will face stiff competition in his draw. Here's Kirsty Gilmer with more on the Super 500 event.
Hylo Open might be one of my most played tournaments over the many years. It changed names over the many years. It used to be Bitburger, then it was Sarler Lux, now it's Hylo. We also had Europeans just back in April in this very hall, so I know it quite well. I've played some not so great badminton in there, but I think I've also played some of my absolute best badminton in there. So yeah, I've got a funny relationship with this hall. But in terms of where it is in Saarbrücken, I think over the years that I've been visiting, the city has grown and progressed, and you can see new things developing each year. So I think in terms of like foods and coffee especially, it's really grown, and I think all the players feel quite comfortable there. You know, it's quite easy access to everything, supermarket, restaurants. So in terms of comfort, I think the players feel quite good there. It's an easy tournament to get around. And in terms of the venue, really good training facilities, although they are not in the same hall, so there's a little bit of logistical management there. But it's a really good hall, a little different from what we usually see on the World Tour. It's not really an arena, it's more of like an auditorium. I personally find the space to be quite dense. I find the floor to be a little hard, so that means you have to work really hard with your legs. There's not much spring back with the floor, so you don't get much out of it. You kind of have to produce all of the power and the movement yourself. And I think in past years I remember the shuttles flying a little bit faster, just because it's a slightly smaller, more compact space. But it's no more challenging than any of the other halls that we would see on the World Tour. It's just perhaps a little different. The toughest opponents in the women's singles discipline this year, I'm quite fortunate to be seeded number 2. I would say obviously Lena Kiersveld, the number 1 seed, has been having a really strong back half of the year. Actually, a decent whole year for Lena. I think she came out fighting after the Olympics because she wasn't representing Denmark there. So I think she took that opportunity to go to Asia and try and pick up those points. She's had some great performances, and she's really built her ranking up. So I think Lena Kiersveld is one, and then one that's in my half of the draw would be Bansod. I think we've seen her develop really well over the last couple of years. Definitely, even in my experience playing against her, she's developed some strength in her shots. You know, it was quite easy to bully her around before. She's really strengthened up her game and her court movement. So I think she's quite an interesting one to watch going forward. I think someone else that has had some good results in this hall would be Tommy Popov. Europeans, we saw him beat Victor Axelsen in this hall, so I think this could work in his favour. I've spoken to him before and he quite likes fast halls. His game suits it, it's quite aggressive but kind of quite counter style. So I think he can take advantage of people trying to spread the court with speed. So I think he might bring some confidence into playing in this hall after his silver medal success at the Europeans. So I think he could be quite an interesting one to watch. He's had some really good results this year, and again he's built his ranking up. I think this could be an interesting one for Tom.
Another player to watch at the Hylo Open is Alex Lanier. The Frenchman started the second half of the HSBC BWF World Tour season ranked 29th in the men's singles. However, a win at the Daihatsu Japan Open, followed by a semi-final finish in Denmark, has propelled Lanier to world number 15. Jeff Bill breaks down on what makes the 19-year-old an exciting player.
The name Alex Lanier has definitely been talked a lot about in the badminton community over the last few months. There's no doubt that his victories aren't just a one-off event out of the blue. he's shown multiple times that he has the ability to beat the top players in the world and to do it on the biggest level tournaments. He's fit, he's fast, he can play at a really high intensity level for long matches, he can defend well, he can finish the point off in his attack when he's given the right opportunity. But look, these are all things that are kind of the minimum requirement to be a men's singles player at this level anyway. What stands out to me is that I think that he is so mature for a 19-year-old player. His tactical awareness of the game is so developed where he's able to read the game really well, choose the right shots, choose the right times to attack and not go for too much. Even like when he's not in the right position, he's not going for too much and he's not playing himself into trouble unnecessarily. Even under a lot of pressure at those high level events in the finals, semi-finals, he's still able to execute the game plan and do the right things. We often see younger players of similar age, they can get themselves into trouble because they're too eager to finish off the point, they're playing too erratically, and usually this results in more errors, loss of focus, lots of kind of string of points lost in a row, and also poorer tactical decisions overall. So mentally, I do think that he is definitely better than most of the players on the circuit around his age. And look, when he gets on court, he's not scared. He's not intimidated to play those top seed. Every time he steps on court, it really does look like he goes into every match with the strong belief that he can win that game. So for any player in the world, there's never nothing to improve, and that's what makes badminton such an exciting sport. But specifically for Alex, I do think that he needs to improve on his ability to change the game tempo. He's fast, he can reach all the shots, but I'd like to see him be able to produce a little bit more pace in his game, to suddenly inject more speed and be more explosive, because I think that's going to give him better weapons to finish off points. I also think he's going to get harder for him now. He's on the radar. The top players are noticing him, so they're going to be doing a lot of analysis on his game to learn about any weaknesses and to develop any tactic when they play against him. So he's got to make sure that he continues to develop his game, develop his weapons and game style so that he can stay ahead. And I think this is where his coach, Kęstutis, is really strong and really good at, and it's going to be an important role that he plays for Alex.
Liu and Tan are the new women's doubles world #1 after reaching the finals of Victor Denmark Open. The Chinese pair have taken over the top spot from their compatriots Chen Xingchen and Jia Yifan and are among the youngest to be ranked #1 in women's doubles. Liu and Tan have already won 9 World Tour titles, plus an Olympic silver medal in less than 2 years together. Despite their success, Liu was cautious about their new status as the #1 pair.
目前还没有时间去想这些，还是我要之后的训练可能要付出更多，然后才能也会以前是我们冲击别人，然后现在肯定比赛打得多之后，可能大家对我们的研究会比较多，所以我们要做好更困难的准备，然后训练要更扎实。
The semi-final opponents in Denmark, Chiharu Shida and Nami Matsuyama, however, are convinced that the Chinese pair are already improving after losing to them in straight games.
はい、相手は本当にやっぱりオリンピックが終わってからすごく、結果を残しているペアですし、レベルも上がっているなという点ではやっぱり、シンプルに相手の方が強かったかなと思います。そうですね、相手はすごいノーロブっていうプレースタイルですごい男子のようなタッチで速いので、そこに付き合いすぎて先に落とせたらいいなとは思ってたんですけど、その大きい展開をするにも低い展開をするにも中途半端になってしまったかなと思うんですけど、低いところでやられないようにしようという作戦で入りました。
Liu and Tan are not only improving themselves, but the #1 pair has also changed the way the women's doubles is being played, according to our expert Kirsty Gilmer.
We've seen some massive steps in the world of women's doubles. The consistency that they've shown to reach the world #1 after only competing for 2 years, and incredibly impressive. But I think what they're bringing to the game of women's doubles is we're seeing a kind of back shift from the kind of running, chasing, rallying game that the Japanese have perhaps dominated in the last few years to this kind of power, big hitting, aggressive game from the Chinese pair. So I think it's an interesting shift, and quite clearly it's working so well right now in this era of women's doubles.
Meanwhile, Chris Langridge believes that China's badminton system has not only benefited Liu and Tan, but consistently produced top-quality players in that discipline.
China's ladies doubles now, I think everybody needs to almost, not copy, but look in more detail at what they're doing, because they are totally dominating the game. You know, they've got 4 world-class pairs. For me, they've got the best pair in the world, which is Liu and Tan, who are still young. I know they won the silver. But, you know, China, they're so far ahead of all the other nations. When you look at, you know, we could probably go down to the 8th Chinese pair is still phenomenal. And they're so dominant. The other countries need to maybe look in more detail at what's going on and why they're so good, because these young players coming through. And the ladies doubles now, in the last probably 4 or 5 years, for me, is definitely the most improved category, the most improved event. It's really exciting to watch, and it's getting better and better. Almost every 6 months, we're seeing something special happen.
An injured toe led to Chia and Soh being on the brink of losing the bronze medal at the Olympics. The world number 6, however, defied the odds to become the first Malaysian doubles pair to win consecutive medals at the Games. We caught up with the bronze medalists and talked about their toughest match in Paris.
Actually, I got 2. Actually, during the quarterfinal match against the Indian pair, Sawick and Chirac, and the bronze medal match against him and Anders, because I think both of the match, because of our previous meeting and the last few meetings against the Indians pair, it's like we are down on 3-0. Yeah, and we are going in during the quarterfinal, a lot of pressure on it, because we have to win this. If not, we won't be getting any medal, not even a bronze.
I think the bronze medal match is the most difficult for us, I think, because it was losing, and many people from our country will say to us that we almost closed out the TV because they know it's a losing match. Yeah, so we also couldn't believe that we can go through this, because at the moment, for me, I think it's never give up. Actually, me and Erin going through these 2 years, many ups and downs and struggles. I think from our experience, yeah, it helps actually in that match. It's very satisfied to go through this moment. During the semi-final match against Liang Wang, that's a big match, I think, because we play them many times, and this time we play our best and we got into the rubber set. So during the crucial time, and it was unforgettable for me, because that moment that has 1 point, I was a bit too rushed to the front, because I saw the opportunity, but like Wang Chang just get rid of that, get behind me, and I lost the balance. If I have been more calm and more focused, I will get that shot, and it's actually an opportunity for us to win. So I would say that point is crucial for me, and I would change that if I could more focus. The hardest is this Paris Olympics, because actually I was injured my toe before the semi-final match, and the bronze medal match, my injury on the toe got worse. So I think from my side, for my movement in the court, and during the warm-up also, I feel the pain and couldn't move fast. So I was just like keep moving on in that match. I also don't know how actually I go through this, because at that moment I just feel like I don't want to give up, and maybe the pain will just goes off. So I didn't feel any pain, and after the match it got swollen. So that moment is very hard to me.
I was like really proud of him that he can go through this without, complaining anything, and I always keep belief in Wooi. Of course, we are proud of ourselves because we have gone through the worst situation. Even from the grouping match started, we have just like one thought: we won't be giving up until we lost everything. So I think that's one of the things that we learned from this Olympic.
That's all the time we have on the show. Do join us again next week as we bring you the top stories from the Hylo Open. But before we go, Badminton Weekly would like to congratulate Anthony Sinisuka Ginting on his marriage to former shuttler Mitzi Abigail. The happy couple, who have been dating since 2014, held their wedding on Saturday in Bogor, Indonesia, with Fajar Alfian, Rian Arianto and Gregoria Tunjung amongst the many Indonesian players in attendance. Wishing Anthony and Mitzi a blissful marriage, and to all our viewers, a wonderful week.